Please go ahead, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So Hare Krishna, thank you very much, Vasant Prabhuji, for this wonderful start to the day. Beautiful Kirtan, along with the Hare Krishna Nama Sankirtan. So, and also thank you for the very nice words that you use for me. Well, in this session, I'm not using any slides, and I call this session as a refresher for all of you. And it is back to basics for me. It is a session which is more for the beginners of Srimad Bhagavatam. And I would be very honest here that I've been around, I've been participating here and there, listening, but never actually put a sincere effort of listening through the Bhagavad Saptah or those golden moments like during the Ramadan when all the devotees assemble and then they go through the entire Bhagavatam. While I've had this query in my mind always, but never made sincere attempts. So now with your support, again, I'm trying to go on this path. So before I do that, it's very important that I understand the glories and about Bhagavatam, what it is and why it has so much importance. So this session is there for that. So you can only help me and take this as a refresher for you. So I'll begin with the opening prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Seveya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Govindaya Namo Namaha Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. So I'll start with some questions. So can anyone tell me what is the word meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam?
Mother, about the glories of Lord's pastime, Prabhu.
Please say that again, Prabhuji.
The glories of Lord and Lord's devotees pastime.
Okay. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, Srimad means the property of Bhagwan, and Bhagavat means the devotee of the Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam is like whatever is the property of Bhagwan, like that is enjoyed and released by the devotee of the Lord. I don't know, Prabhu, if it is very clear, but I heard it recently, Prabhu. So just wanted to share.
No, all answers are correct. So Sri is, when I say the word meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam, so Sri means beautiful. And Bhagavatam, as you said, it is related to Bhagwan. It is about Bhagwan, one who has all the opulences. So as we know that Srimad Bhagavad Gita is spoken by the Lord, whereas Srimad Bhagavatam is about the Lord himself. So again, my next question is, what is then Srimad Bhagavatam?
What, Prabhu?
First question was about the word meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then my next question is, what is Srimad Bhagavatam?
About the pastimes of the Lord. The pastimes of the Lord and his devotees.
Right, yeah. So can I say that it is a set of questions and answers?
Yeah, Prabhu, yeah, definitely.
Yes. So there are many times or many places where we will have this question and answer sessions, but this set of questions and answers is about the most important aspect of our life, which is the purpose of our very existence. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam. So who compiled Srimad Bhagavatam?
Vyasadeva.
Srila Vyasadeva
Yeah.
Prabhu. Yeah.
Vyasadeva, Srila Vyasadeva, who is also the literary incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And what's special about this Srimad Bhagavatam is to its author, which is who is Srila Vyasadeva. This is that scripture which gave complete satisfaction to him while he was still unhappy or not satisfied after writing the Itihasas, Mahabharata, Vedanta Sutra, and other Puranas. Right. So another question is why it is said for 7 days.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, because Parikshit Maharaj was left with only 7 days, Prabhuji. After that, he was cursed to be leaving his body.
Great, great, yes. So the next question is, can I just read from here and there, or can I just go to the 10th canto?
No, Prabhu, it has to be read from the first canto, like there is a progressive is always suggested.
Yes.
Because
Please
there
go
is
ahead,
nothing
Mataji.
but representation of the Lord, the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, where the first two cantos like represent the lotus feet of the Lord. Then next two cantos are like his thighs, and the fifth canto is representing his abdomen. Sixth is his chest. Seventh and eighth is his arm. Ninth is his neck. 10th canto is his lotus face, and 11th canto is his forehead, and the 12th canto is his head, Prabhu. So whenever we go to temple and take darshan, like we take it from the lotus feet to the lotus face, the same way the Srimad Bhagavatam also to be read from the first canto till the 10th canto, because it will help us to qualify to read the 10th canto, the intimate pastimes of like a Lord in Vrindavan and his birth and the appearance and other things.
Yeah, this is a great answer, and this is what Srila Prabhupada has also explained. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So the next question is how many times it was spoken and when?
So first it was spoken by Narada Muni to Srila Vyasadeva, and second is like Krishna to Brahma, Brahma to Narada Muni, then Narada Muni spoken to Vyasadeva, then Vyasadeva spoken to Sukadeva Goswami, his son, then Sukadeva Goswami speaking to Parikshit, where Sutta Goswami was listening, then Sutta Goswami is speaking to Shaunaka rishis and other rishis in Namisharniya.
Oh, great. And when else other than this?
And
Lord Shiva to Parvati.
Lord Shiva to
Okay.
Parvati, yeah. And Dundukari to Gokarna to Dundukari.
Yes, yes. And one more?
Sukadeva Goswami Parikshit, which we already.
Maitreya Rishi to
Vidura?
Maitreya Rishi to
Yeah,
Vidura.
Maitreya Rishi to Vidura.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
Vidura,
One
sorry.
more?
Where
Yeah, one more. Yeah, all answers correct. One more. So this was Sanakadi Muni, Sanakadi, they are telling to Narada, which is again part of the Gokarn story. So they also told to Narada.
So Shaunaka Rishi told to Narada Prabhu.
No, you know Sanak Kumaras?
The Sanat Kumaras. Okay. 4 Kumaras. Okay.
Yes, the 4 Kumaras told to Narada Muni.
Yes. Okay. Actually, Narada is speaking to 4 Kumara, Prabhu.
No, it's the other way around, and that's part of the
Narada.
story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Prabhu.
Yes, Narada did tell to Vyasdeva, and at a later stage, the 4 Kumaras again told to Narada, and that's part of this Gokarn story, which we are going to, discuss today. So, yeah, let's start. So now, as we start to know about Bhagavatam, it is very important that first we know the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, right? So, where are these glories mentioned for Bhagavatam? Is it in Bhagavatam?
No, Prabhu, it is Bhagavata. Where it is.
Yes, so these glories are actually mentioned in Padma Puran, where in the Uttarakhand there are 6 chapters which are dedicated to it. So we are going to spend some time on the glories, as well as this story. Very happy all of you are participating and then giving all the answers. So let's start. So it is said that when Sri Sukdev Goswami was about to recite Srimad Bhagavatam to Maharaj Parikshit, the demigods appeared there, and they said that we have brought nectar Amrit with us. So kindly give this nectar to Parikshit Maharaj. With that, he won't die, and his life will get extended. And then you tell the katha to us. So Shri Sukdev Goswami refused, said, no, I'm not going to do that, because Maharaj Parikshit asked a question to me that what is the most important thing one has to do when he is about to die. And he has asked the question about the very purpose of the human existence. So this nectar or Amrit may be important, but it doesn't stand anywhere before what I'm going to tell him. So that speaks volumes of how important this Bhagavatam is, right? So in the Naimisaranya forest, when Shaunak Rishi and other rishis, they were requesting Sri Sutta Goswami, they asked this question that how did this Bhagavatam actually came out, right? So then Sutta Goswami, starts telling that this is related to Narada Muni. So one day Narada Muni in the Kali Yuga was going around places doing his Tirth Yatra. And while passing through Badrivan, he met the 4 Kumaras. Narada Muni was looking very much worried. And so the 4 Kumaras, they asked him that, why are you looking so tense? What happened? So then he started telling that wherever he is going in Kali Yuga, his worst fears are coming true. He's seeing so much degradation around, and that is kind of worrying him. And then he further said that while I was passing through the banks of Yamuna River in Vrindavana, I saw a youthful lady who was sitting and crying, and next to her were 2 grown up but very frail, weak, and looking very old men next to her. And I asked this lady that, who are you and who are these men and why are you crying? So she said that I am Bhakti Devi, and she greeted Narada Muni with great respect, and she addressed Narada Muni that you are respected and revered all over. With your preaching, Bhakta Dhruva, Bhakta Prahlad got Sri Hari Darshan and blessings. So here are my 2 sons, Jnana and Vairagya. They are very old, dying, and I'm very worried. I don't know how to revive them. So Narada Muni consoled her and said, yes, I will help you. And then he told her that bhakti is getting ignored in this Kali Yuga, and that is the prime cause of this suffering all over. Then he told her that earlier, one time when you had asked Sri Hari that what you should do. So Krishna told you to help people, as bhakti is the only way that we can make spiritual progress. And it is only through the pure bhakti that we can obtain the blessings of Sakshat Sri Krishna. So while tapasya, yagna, study may not help that much, while the bhakti is the answer to the suffering. So Bhakti felt very good when she heard this from Narada Muni, and she got charged up. However, her two sons did not react. So Narada Muni is a bit surprised, and then he said, then he started speaking Vedant Sutras in the years of Jnana and Vairagya. Did not help. Then he even tried Bhagavad Gita, and they did react, but they still remain weak, and they were yawning. And Bhakti Devi started even crying more. And this really surprised Narada Muni that, what's happening, why this is not helping. So he said that I'm going to do a tapasya. And then there was this Akashvani that you should go around and find saints, Mahatmas, who may be able to find a way out for you. So then he started doing this, and then he told to the four Kumaras that I've been everywhere, I've been asking these questions, but I'm not getting this question, I'm not getting a proper answer. He prayed to the four Kumaras and said that you are like Koti Surya, and with just one glance of yours, Jaya and Vijaya, they fell from the Vaikuntha. And it's only through your blessings that they were revived. So please help me. So the four Kumaras, after hearing Narada Muni, said that, Narada Muni, have you forgotten your own teachings to Srila Vyasadeva? Srila Vyasadeva was not happy after writing so many scriptures. And then you only directly told him to glorify the Supreme Lord through the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam. So the people of Kali Yuga, including this Jnana and Vairagya, they need the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. So further they said that you please go to the Anand Ghat in Haridwara and then arrange for 7 days hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam. We will come and we will recite the Bhagavatam there. So Narada Muni was very happy. He went there. The word spread. People from everywhere started coming. Even people from the three lokas, including demigods, sages, Bhrigu Muni, Vashisht Muni, Markandeya, Dattatreya, Vishwamitra. They all came with their families there. And they all got seated there. And Narada Muni sat in the front. And thereafter, the four Kumaras started speaking. They said that just by listening to the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Lord appears, Lord enters one's heart. And there is absolutely no match for Srimad Bhagavatam. And then they said that before we actually recite the Bhagavatam, we would like to tell you about the glories of Bhagavatam, as this gives one liberation. And this Bhagavatam has 18,000 verses, 12 cantos, and we can only say that a jiva would suffer in this world until they have heard Bhagavatam. And then they further added that even if one verse or 1.5 verse or a 1/4 of a verse can make a difference. To glorify further, they added that thousands of Ashwamedh Yagna, Vajpayee Yagna, they cannot match. Even the Tirthas of Ganga, Pushkar, Gaya, Kashi, they don't stand. when it comes to Srimad Bhagavatam. So anyone who recites even a little of the Srimad Bhagavatam can get free from the sins accumulated from crores of lives. And those who don't, their life, consider that as a waste. So as Sadhu Sivan Prabhuji earlier explained that Parikshit Maharaj had 7 days, and that's why the importance of 7 days comes. One more thing to add there is people in Kali Yuga have limitations, so that's why also the 7 days katha is recommended. So here Shaunak ji also asked Sutta Goswami that how come bhakti became more important than jnana, right? So here Sutta Goswami tells that when Lord Krishna was about to depart, he was preaching Uddhav ji. Uddhav ji was very broken and was constantly pleading with Krishna that don't go, don't go. And this was in Prabhas Kshetra. So Krishna, then further Uddhav ji pleaded with Krishna that what will happen to the people and who will take care of them. So Krishna thought about it and then he put all his blessings onto Bhagavata. So that's another reason how the Bhakti and Bhagavata are so important for us. So when this Bhagavat Katha glories were going on, suddenly Bhakti Devi appeared there with her 2 sons, and she was constantly reciting Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Nath Nara Yanvasudevam. So Sanakadi, the 4 Kumaras, they said that she has just appeared from the Katha Amrit of the Artha of this Bhagavatam. So as the glories were recited, everyone was very pleasantly surprised because they saw that Jnana and Vairagya, who were very old, frail and weak, they became very youthful. And this made Bhakti Devi very, very happy. And then she expanded herself and entered the heart of all the Vaishnavas present there. So the 4 Kumaras added there that whatever may happen, which is very important for us, whatever may happen in this Kali Yuga, the bhakti and the benefits from it will remain unaffected. So we should always go for the devotional service. We should always go for bhakti. And even it is mentioned here that the Lord himself was very pleased with this way, the way this Bhagavatam session was organized and then it was glorified. And the fact that Bhakti Devi herself had entered into the heart of everyone and, blessed all the Vaishnavas present there. So this was just with the glorification of Bhagavatam. So Narada Muni requested the 4 Kumaras who are telling to all there, including Narada Muni. So he requested the 4 Kumaras that we would like to know more from the history that just by hearing Bhagavatam, how people can get liberated. So here the story of Gokarna comes in, where the 4 Kumaras tell this story. So this is the story of Atmadev, and this person was living with his family near the river Tungabhadra. And in those times, they said that the people were very religious, dedicated to executing their duties. And Atmadeva was also very sincere, used to study Vedas and perform his karma kanda activities. And his wife Dunduli was very beautiful, and she was from a good family and good at doing the household activities. However, by nature, she was very talkative, very involved in gossiping, and a bit rude and cruel, and very quarrelsome as well. However, Atmadeva and Dunduli lived well because they had good wealth, and their house was also beautiful. But even after all this, Atmadeva was not happy at all, and the reason for that they didn't have any child. So Atmadeva was very worried, and he went on doing pious activities and going from places to places, and then did a lot of donations, cows, land, gold, clothes, etc. However, he spent half of his wealth onto this, but still the results did not come. Right. So he was very frustrated, unhappy, and disheartened, and then he decided he left home and just went to forest on one day. While he was struggling to walk through, feeling very weak, he you know, came across a pond, and he was very thirsty, and so he drank some water, and then he sat down there to take rest. Suddenly he saw one sannyasi who came there. So immediately Atmadeva rushed and fell at the feet of sannyasi, and then started crying. uh, he said to sannyasi that I'm suffering heavily. This is because of the sins of my past life, and I'm very miserable. I don't have any children, and you know that there is no purpose of this life. There is no purpose of living without children. Even the cows that I have, they are also not having any children. When I plant a tree, it does not give any fruits, flowers. Whatever fruits I bring to home, they get spoiled. And so that's how they have no purpose left for this life. Right? And I'm going to give up this life. So the sannyasi took pity on Atmadeva and said that I can see uh, your future, and I don't see that you will have any child. So, but don't worry. You should apply discrimination in your life. You should give up all attachment, and you should live as a renunciate. And then he started giving examples of from the history, that there was a king Sagara, then there was a king Anga, and they also had to suffer uh, because of not having a son. And so he said to Brahmana that don't give up this attachment, and then apply renunciation in your life. But Atmadeva was very determined, and he was not giving up. He said, no, no, I need a son, otherwise I'm going to give up this life. So then again the sannyasi tried and said that King Chitraketu had to suffer in the past excessively because he wanted to change his fate. So please do not try to change the fate, because it is very powerful, and you will not be happy even if you get a child. Right? But now that you are not giving up, you are very determined. Let me try and help you. So he gave a fruit to Atmadeva and said that please take this fruit to your wife. Uh, Once your wife has this fruit, she will definitely get pregnant and bear you a child. However, he also advised that she should follow truthfulness, cleanliness, and take only one meal per day. And that will help to get a son who is very pious and righteous. So Atmadeva got very happy. He rushed back to the home, and then he gave that fruit to Dunduli and said that take it immediately. So Dunduli took the fruit. However, she did not eat it. Right? So when Atmadeva was busy with his work, and then sometimes he checked with her that did you actually take the fruit? And she said, yeah, I took the fruit. However, she did not take because she was very worried. She told to her friend that my husband has brought me a fruit that has the potency to get me a child, but if I eat, then I'll become pregnant. My womb will grow, and then I'll not be able to eat properly. I'll not be able to perform the household duties. If thieves come and attack the house, then I'll not be able to run. What if the child gets stuck in the birth canal? Then I will lose my life. Or she even brought Srila Sukdeva into this, that okay, if it stays, if the child stays within my womb for an extended period, how much I will suffer, right? So I'll have to follow so many rules, regulations, which will create massive difficulty for me. And that's how I don't want to, eat this fruit. So time went on, and one day her sister visited Dunduli, and again Dunduli told this to her. So her sister was also like her, and she said that what we can do is, I'm pregnant, and my husband is a very greedy man. So what we can do is, you can just act that you are pregnant for Atmadeva, while I will continue. And once I have a child, you just give some money to my husband, and then he will bring the child to you. That way you can tell to Atmadeva that you got a child, while we will spread the story that my child died, and I will also find a way to come to your place and then support bringing up this child. Now, as far as this fruit is concerned, just give this fruit to your cow. So very important here that Dunduli fed that fruit to the cow. And as the time progressed, it happened that her sister gave birth to a son. And then the child's father, as planned, gave it to Dunduli, who informed Atmadeva that he had become a father. Atmadeva was extremely happy, and then he did so many auspicious activities, events, charities, and then to celebrate this birth. And then Dunduli, as per her plan, told to Atmadeva that, well, actually, we need my sister here to take care of the child. And Atmadeva took her suggestion. He was very happy. And the name Dunduli gave to that boy was Dundukari. So after 3 months, the cow that had eaten that fruit also delivered a very beautiful human child. This child was very peaceful, glowing, divine looking, and Brahmana Atmadeva was extremely happy this time that, wow, even the cow has a child. And then the word spread, and people started coming to their house to see how come a cow can give birth to a child just like a human child. And they said that, oh, Atmadeva is very fortunate now. This child had ears like the cows, ears. So that's how he was named Gokarna. So as the time progressed, these boys grew up, and there was a complete contrast. While Gokarna was very intelligent, scholarly, Dundukari was totally opposite to that. He would not perform any of the duties. He would not follow any of the rules, and he would eat from here and there. He would accumulate and go after useless things. And he was very envious, and he was hurting all the people around, stealing, and he was always carrying some weapons with him, and he was hurting blind, handicapped people. And and then as he grew up, he started going to the prostitutes and started wasting his father's wealth there. One day, as this grew, his activities grew, he beat up Atmadeva and Dunduli, and then he took all the utensils, all the items in the house, and sold them. So then with this, Atmadeva got very unhappy, and he felt that, oh, I was better off when I did not have a child. What's the point in having such a child who's gone so bad, and he's hurting us and hurting the people around? And he started lamenting. So seeing him, Gokarna arrived there, and Gokarna told to Atmadeva that, Father, there's no point, trying to find happiness in this world, because it is full of delusion and misery, and it is useless, right? He gave the example that those who are attached to the material things, they just burn day and night like a ghee lamp. He also said that even Lord Indra, or anyone, who would be the emperor of this universe, can find the real happiness, or continuous happiness. So better for you that you give up all this, give up all the attachments, and then go and live in a secluded place in a forest. Now Atmadeva was almost 64, but he still patiently listened to Gokarna and said that, what exactly I'm going to do in the forest? Please tell me that also. So he said that please dedicate your life to service of the Vaishnavas, and perform devotional service to the personality of Godhead, because devotion is the greatest dharma, and give up everything else, right? Render your service, and do not think of any family members, any of your assets, attachments, wealth, etc. So he was very much influenced, Atmadeva, with the preaching of Gokarna. And then he left home, went to the forest with great determination. Day and night, he remembered what Gokarna told him, and then he engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord. He was regularly reciting from Srimad Bhagavatam, and then he got blessed, and he attained the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So after Atmadeva had gone to the forest, Dundukari got further agitated. He once beat Dunduli, and then demanded whatever that was left with her. And he even tried to burn her. So Dunduli panicked, very frightened with this behavior. And then one night she ran from the home, and then just jumped into a well, and then gave up her life. With all these incidents, Gokarna was unaffected, because he had all the divine qualities. He was not troubled by happiness or distress, did not consider anyone as his friend or enemy. And then he decided to go on a pilgrimage. While Dundukari was left behind, father gone to the forest, mother died, brother Gokarna out. So he invited prostitutes to his house, and then all the time he was thinking that how I can build on my assets, on my wealth, and how I can enjoy more and more. Right. So he was getting degraded further. He was losing all his intelligence, and the prostitutes, while they were making him happy, they were demanding more and more. Right. So they said to him that we need this ornament, that ornament, we need this item, that item. So in order to please them, he was going around, he was stealing from other people, and then trying to make them happy. With this, the prostitutes also started thinking that, he's going around, and he's doing all kind of these activities, he's stealing from other people. And one day, sure, the king's men will catch him, and he will get punished. So we need to find a way to get rid of him. Right? So they decided that one day when Dundukari was sleeping, they tied him with a rope, and then they tried to strangle him. However, Dundukari was not dying with this effort. So they brought some burning wood, and then actually put into his mouth, and then put his body on fire. Dundukari struggled, but he was overpowered, and then he died this miserable death. And following that, what they did was they buried his dead body. And people around, they asked, like, we don't see Dundukari, what happened to him? So they would just make an excuse that, wow, well, he has gone to a distant place. It will take some time for him because he wants to make more money. So people got on with their work, and then the prostitutes took whatever wealth was there, whatever items were there, and then they disappeared from there. Now, because of all his misdeeds, Dundukari was punished. So he attained a ghost body, and just like with the wind, he moved from here and there. He was very desperate, suffering from hunger and thirst, all the time lamenting, but he was not getting any shelter anywhere. Now, as the time passed, the news about his death, his disappearance, it reached Gokarnaji also. So Gokarna went to Gaya and performed Shraddha for his brother, for the mukti of his brother. And wherever he went, all the holy places, he was, doing the Shraddha for him. Finally, one day he got back to the village and got back to the home. So while he was taking rest, Dundukari, uh, who was in the ghost form, came there, and he saw that Gokarna is there. So Dundukari tried to fear him down. He took very dreaded forms. He became an animal. Sometimes he became a buffalo. He became a fire. Like that, he was trying to frighten Gokarnaji. However, Gokarnaji was very patient, and he asked, "Who are you? Why are you coming up again and again with these terrible forms? Uh, how did you get into this condition? Right? Are you a ghost? What happened to you?" So when the ghost saw that Gokarna was so patient and he asked these questions to him, immediately the ghost, Dundukari, he started crying. He didn't have the strength to speak, so he was just sitting. Seeing this, Gokarna sprinkled some water with this. Some of his sinful reactions went away, and then he was able to speak. He said that, "Oh, brother Gokarna, I am actually your brother, Dundukari. And because of all the bad things that I have done, I have fallen from this respected birth of Brahmana that I got. And I killed so many people. I did so many sins. I cannot even count those sins. And that's how I have got into this ghost body. And I'm surviving just on air. So I'm suffering too much, my brother. You are an ocean of mercy. Kindly help me." So Gokarna was very surprised. He said that, "Brother, when I learned about you, I actually did Shraddha for you in Gaya. So I'm wondering that how come you didn't get mukti and you're still in this ghost form. So if that did not help, what can help you?" So the ghost said that even if you perform 100 times this Shraddha for me at Gaya, it is not going to help me. You need to find some other way, my brother Gokarna. So Gokarna was very, uh, again, he started thinking that if this person, my brother Dundukari, cannot be delivered by so many Shraddhas in Gaya, then his liberation is actually impossible. Then he still consoled Dundukari that do not panic, do not fear. Let me think something. So the next day he started going around and started asking the saints that please tell me something. And everyone who heard said that whatever you have done is the only way out. If that is not helping, then what else can be done? So finally, they said that we have to, pray to Surya Narayana, and whatever Surya Narayana, the sun god, tells, we will, we'll follow that. So Gokarna, with his divine qualities, he was able to do that, and he offered his respects and then prayed and requested that please tell, you are the witness of this entire world, and I have this situation. I want to help my brother. What can help? So Suryanarayan said that only one thing can be done to deliver your brother. and that is to recite Srimad Bhagavatam. It is a simple process, and that should be executed, and it's going to help. So Gokarna was very happy, and then the news spread around that he's going to perform this Sapta Yagna. And so people from the nearby villages, everyone started coming in, people who were blind, who were lame, aged, they all had this desire to get free from their sins. And a massive crowd assembled there. And even the demigods were surprised that how come so many people are there. So then Gokarna ji took the seat on the Vyasasana, and then he started reciting the pastimes of Lord Shri Krishna as described in Bhagavatam. So at that time, this ghost Dundukari, he also came there. And since he had an airy body, he could not settle at one place. So he looked for a bamboo rod which had 7 knots. And he entered into that bamboo rod and started listening carefully. Gokarna appointed one Vaishnava Brahman as the chief to sit in the front, and then with his sweet voice, he started reciting Srimad Bhagavatam from the very first canto. So on that evening, after the katha was recited, there was a break. A wonderful incident happened. So the people there noticed that on that bamboo on which Dundukari had entered as a ghost, which had 7 knots, one of the knot burst open. So they witnessed this, that every day as the day passed, another knot would burst. And by the end of the 7th day, when this recitation was complete, all the knots were cracked. And suddenly they saw that Dundukari was actually released from his ghostly form, and he was looking very beautiful, clad in yellow garments with a tulsi on his neck, tulsi garland on his neck, and beautiful earrings, just looking like a divine person. And Dundukari immediately offered his obeisances to Sri Gokarna ji and said that, my dear brother, you are only with your mercy that I've been released from this body. And this ceremony of the Sapta recitation is so glorious that it can even destroy a ghostly form and elevate anyone. So I'm so much thankful to you. So then it is further said that just like a fire which burns the tree, so the Sapta Bhagavatam has this power to burn all our big or small sins that are performed with this body, our mind, our speech. So the saints there, they started talking that there is no purpose of this body. This body is actually continuously troubled by the desires that can never be satisfied. So once this body is destroyed, it takes only moments, right? If it is buried, then it is eaten by the worms. If it is thrown out, it is eaten by vultures. And if it is burned, it turns to ashes. So anyone who's intelligent should actually utilize this temporary body to get permanent happiness, the permanent benefit. This body, which is getting food, which is prepared in the morning, and this food actually becomes bad by the evening or the next day. So how this body can become eternal if this food by having this food that itself doesn't stand, right? So in this material world, people can attain the lotus feet of the Lord by hearing Bhagavata, and they while and it helps to get rid of all the defects of this human birth. So while this was being discussed amongst the scholars there, Dhundukari was praying and offering obeisances. Suddenly the sky became very effulgent, and then a Vimana came, and this Viman came from actually Vaikuntha, and it had associates of the Lord. And while this entire assembly was watching, uh, these associates welcomed Dhundukari to the plane, and they said that we have come here to take you to Vaikuntha. So seeing this, everyone was very happy. Gokarnaji was very happy. However, he got a question, and he said that, oh dear associates of the Supreme Lord, there are so many people who are assembled here, and they all heard this katha. So why this discrimination that you have come here and then you want to take only Dhundukari? Why not the rest of us? So here is a very important answer to most of us who feel that, oh, I'm doing some devotional service, I'm doing chanting, I'm doing this. However, I'm not getting the benefits. I'm hearing stories that even one time somebody takes Lord's name, then they get liberated, but it's not happening for me. I'm not seeing the benefits. Why this happens? So here the answer is given by the associates of the Lord. They said that the difference here is that yes, everyone was there. However, the key difference is the quality in the way they heard this Bhagavatam, right? While they were here, they were not completely attentive, and they were in and out, and they were also taking breaks, and they were thinking of other things. So that's why the result is not the same. While compared to these people, Dundukari fasted for all the 7 days and was not distracted at all. And he heard the Bhagavatam with a very attentive and fixed mind. And he was totally focused. And that's how the quality of his hearing as compared to the hearing of others is different. So faith in the words of the spiritual master, humility, control of mind's defects, and attentive hearing of Bhagavad Gita, all can grant the full result. So if one hears Bhagavatam very attentively, he will certainly attain Vaikuntha. So that's how they answered the Lord's associates. And then prior to departing with Dundukari to Vaikuntha, they told to Gokarna that as far as you are concerned, the Supreme Lord himself will come to bless you. So Gokarna decided that, okay, we have heard the associates of the Lord, and I'm determined that all the people who came to the Katha when I was telling to Dundukari and them, I want to make sure that they get the full benefit and they also get liberated. So in the next month of Shravana, Gokarna again performed the Sapta Yagna. And again, all those people who had come earlier, they also came, but this time there was a difference. So their quality of listening was different from the first time. They were in rapt attention and they're very focused. And then a great thing happened at the end of the Saptayagna, where they saw that the Supreme Lord himself appeared there. And everyone bowed down, they started paying their obeisances. The Lord also blew his Shankha Panchajanya, and then he embraced Gokarna. So with the mercy of the Supreme Lord, everyone their bodies transformed, and they were all they all started looking beautiful, divine like, and everyone who was present there, they all were boarded onto the planes that came with the Supreme Lord, and the Lord himself blessed and then took Gokarna with him to Golok Dham. So this is this amazing story, and And that's how it's important, because it is so purifying that anyone who hears it even once becomes free from all the sins. And then it is said that if one recites this during the Shraddha ceremony, the forefathers are very pleased. And anyone who recites Srimad Bhagavatam daily definitely attains liberation. So this is the story of Gokarna, and this was told by the four Kumaras to Narada Muni. And after completing this story, they continued and they emphasized on the importance of the Saptayagna. They talked about the procedure, the Muhurta, how it should be planned. And then they said that it should always be broadcasted to all the deserving people. There should be a backup plan all the time so that there shouldn't be any interruptions. People should be focused, attentive, and then fast if possible, right? So this is how the four Kumaras, and they completed the Bhagavatam Katha continuously telling for 7 days. Narada Muni was sitting in the front. He offered respects to the four Kumaras, and then he said that I declare that this Bhagavatam is the topmost and the best amongst all the scriptures. Now it is further said that when Narada Muni was offering his obeisances and then thanking the four Kumaras and then emphasizing on the importance of Bhagavatam, suddenly Sukdev Goswami came there. And people were again very happy to see him. They offered respects to him. And then he was seated and he commented that Srimad Bhagavatam is like a fruit. That fruit has no waste. It does not have any seeds. This fruit is all about the nectar. And nothing else is needed if one follows it. Whether you are reading it, whether you're listening it, and he emphasized that never give up on this. So more pleasant surprises happened there. So when Sukdev Goswamiji was speaking, then Arjuna came, Prahlada came, Bali Maharaj came, Uddhavji also came, and along with them Sakshat Bhagwan Shri Krishna also arrived. So it is described that how Lord Krishna is looking. He has adorned a Vanmala. He is having Pitambara. He is having Mukut. He is having Kundala. And his bhav is like the Tribang Lalit bhav with Kaustubh Mani on his chest, and all his Sri body covered with the Chandan Lepa. And this beauty, even crores of Kamdevas cannot match. All over, people started chanting, and then Jaya Ho, Jaya Ho. And then the Shankhas, the Kartalas, and then the flowers started raining. The Almighty Lord was very pleased, and he said that my blessings to all of you, and you ask for a boon from me. So everyone there pleaded that whenever there is a Srimad Bhagavatam Katha, please give us this boon that you will come, just like you have come here along with your associates. So the Lord said, Tathastu, yes, and then he disappeared. So further, this conversation continues with Sutta Goswami, and Shaunakaji asked him that when this Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken, so as we discussed in the beginning, Sutta Goswami tells that this was told by Sri Sukdev Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj when this was 30 years after Lord Krishna had departed. And then again, this story, what we heard, where Gokarna did the Saptayagna. This happened like 200 years after Sri Sukdev Goswami had spoken to Parikshit Maharaj. And then this glorification that we just discussed, and also the story of Gokarna, this happened further 30 years after Sri Gokarna had spoken. So, as Vasant Prabhu explained, the first and the second cantos are the Lord's lotus feet, the third and the fourth cantos are his thighs, the fifth is his navel, the sixth is his chest, the seventh and the eighth cantos are his arms, the ninth canto is his throat, the 10th canto is his beautiful face, the 11th is the forehead, and the 12th is his head. So, again, as we discussed, Lord Shri Krishna, when he was about to leave, he had put all his blessings into Bhagavatam. And that's how this Bhagavatam is can be considered as a book incarnation of Lord Shri Krishna, and narrating his pastimes along with his various avatars. And there is prayer to the Supreme Lord that you are the ocean of mercy. His color is like a tamala tree, and his very purpose of appearing in this world is for the welfare of all of us. So again and again we bow down and we worship him. We perform devotional service, because that is the only way to cross this ocean of material existence. And that's how this Bhagavatam has appeared as his very self. And this is described in the Padma Puran. So again, as this Bhagavatam is non-different from Krishna, and as Vasant Prabhuji explained, that we should always take the darshana of the Supreme Lord starting from his lotus feet, going up to the lotus face. So we should study Bhagavatam step by step from the very first canto, first the glorification, and then going up to the last. Not here and there. We should know it systematically. So with this, I would like to take a verse from Bhagavatam. So Vasant Prabhuji, if you can help me with Canto 2, Chapter 10, verse 1. Can you please share on the screen? So it goes like Shri Sukha Uvacha Atra Sargo Visargasya Stanam Poshanam Utaya Manavantare Ishanu Katha Nirodho Muktirashraya. Anyone would like to recite?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I will try. Shri
Yes.
Shukacha Atra Sargo Visargasya Stanam Poshanam Utayah Manvantara Ishanukada Nirodho Muktirashraya.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I will recite Prabhu.
Yes.
Shri Shuka Uvacha Atra Sargo Visargascha Stanam Poshanamutayah Manvantara Ishanukada Nirodho Muktirashrayah. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Venkat Prabhuji, would you like to take the synonyms and translation?
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Word to word. Sri Sukha Uvacha. Sri Sukadev Goswami said, Atra in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Sargaha, statement of the creation of the universe, Visargaha, statement of sub-creation, Cha also, Sthanam, the planetary systems. Poshanam, the protection. Uttayaha, the creative impetus. Manvantara, 1 second. Manvantara, the changes of the Manus. Ishanukataha, the signs of God. Nirodhaha, going back to Godhead. Muktaha, liberation. Asrayaha, the summoned Banam. Translation by Stephen Gishi Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there are 10 divisions of statements regarding the following: the creations of universe, subcreation, planetary systems, protection by the Lord, the creative impetus, the change of Manus, the signs of God, returning home back to Godhead, liberation, and the summoned bonum. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. So glorified as a Mahapurana, the Srimad Bhagavatam contains 10 subjects as described in this verse. So Sarga, the universal creation by the Supreme Lord; Visarga, the secondary creation by Lord Brahma; Sthanam, positioning of living entities in this various systems; Poshanam, the Lord's protection for the devotees; Uti, which is the inclination to act; Manvantara, which is the reign of Manus; Shanukatha, the topics of the Lord's various incarnation and his devotees; Nirodha, the annihilation; Mukti, liberation; and Ashraya, the supreme shelter, which is Lord Krishna. So the ultimate purpose of this first 9 topics is to help us understand the 10th topic, which is the Ashraya Tattva. The first 9 topics deal with the Supreme Lord Krishna's various energies, his expansions, his greatness, and then understanding them helps us better appreciate his personal attributes and activities with his dearest devotees, which is described in the 10th canto. So without studying the first 9 topics, one may not be able to relish the 10th canto. So that's what is explained here. So I'll take a pause here. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, and thank you for your very patient listening, and I appreciate your inputs and any corrections. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, like amazing sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Very, very nice narration of like and a lot of details about like the introduction of Srimad Bhagavatam and the great story of Vindukari Atmadev Gokarna from Bhagavad Mahatmya. Amazing, Prabhu. Like no words to explain because your flow was exemplary. Like we just like got immersed into your Srimad Bhagavatam, the pastime recitation. Amazing, Prabhu. I'll request now Sadhu Sevan Prabhu to pass his comments and the feedback. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Pranam. Prabhuji, am I audible, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Yes,
Very good.
yes.
Okay, Hare Krishna. So thanks a lot, Vasant Prabhuji, for the excellent, very nice, melodious Agrodha Premananda. It's very, very dear to us, especially when you sing, Prabhu. So thanks a lot, Prabhu. And Himanshu Prabhuji, the best part that I like, Prabhu, that the way you designed today's class, Prabhu, because you first made that interaction happen, Prabhu, so that we sleeping soul wake up. Talking about me, Prabhu, and then after that, in a very simple way, Prabhu, it was very, very natural flow that you took the Bhagavatam importance of it and the Bhagavad Mahatmya. So Prabhu, only thing that I want to add is like Srimad Bhagavatam is our life and soul,
because in schools when we study something, right, we hear theory, and then when we do the practical, we can understand the concepts which are mentioned in the theory. And sometimes when the theory is too heavy, the practical application of that makes the theory more easily convincible. So Srimad Bhagavad Gita are the words of the Lord, but how to apply them has been practically demonstrated by the devotees of the Lord, pure devotees of the Lord in Srimad Bhagavatam. So each canto in itself is a case study of different like bhavas, different moods. Like Dhruv Maharaj approached the Lord in different way, and then Prahlad, and then all had different moods. So Lord does not has a blueprint of how exactly you can come to us. For example, Sudama was pride. He had little pride of being renunciate. So, and he was, I mean, in a positive sense, like he was having a feeling that he's not. He's immediately detached from everything, and then he can renounce easily. So Lord took away his bhava of renouncing and gave him and filled him with opulences. On the other hand, Bali Maharaj had little pride of being so much wealth, and then to him the Lord Vamanadev takes away all the wealth and then gives him, teaches him the renunciation. Right. On the other side, Pandavas, throughout their life, they were facing one problem after the another. Of course, the prayers of Kunti Maharani was also there. That if we can remember you in sufferings, let those sufferings be always there on us. Whereas Ambarish Maharaj was always filled with wealth, happiness throughout his life. So, if somebody says that we can just copy paste any previous devotee and can succeed, so that might deviate us. There is a very subtle difference. So one thing is called Anukarana and Anusarana. Anukarana means we are just imitating. That is wrong. We have to just follow the footsteps. That is called Anusarana. So that is important, Prabhu. So that's it, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, for your valuable comments. Now I request Preeti Swarupini Madhavi Devidasi to add her comments and feedback. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandas Pranam. Very nice class, Prabhu, as usual. So wonderfully explained the glories of Bhagavatam, and really liked the initial few minutes interactive question answer sessions. So thank you for refreshing our memories, and then the amazing story of Gokarna and Dunjakari. Then the importance of hearing, as how Dunjakari was like he heard as a life and soul. So beautifully explained, Prabhuji. And while we are hearing the transcendental knowledge or the leelas about Krishna, then if we have that eagerness to hear, then, and if we are hearing as a life and soul, then obviously it is transmitted into our heart without any our own ideology. If we are hearing as coming from Parambara, then obviously our transformation of heart takes place. So as it is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.17 to 20, like how the importance of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam and listening to Krishna's pastimes, and like it's been glorified over there. So I will just recite that sloka 1.2.17. Srinvatam Svatata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Tridiyanta Abhadrani Vidu Noti Sukrutsatam. So it is stated that by attending the Srimad Bhagavatam classes and while developing that eagerness to hear, It cleanses the desires for material enjoyment from the heart of devotee. So next comes our opening prayers. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloki Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtugi. So once the material desires, so the enjoyment, the material enjoyment being cleansed from our heart, the bhakti is nourished in our heart. Then once bhakti is established in our heart, then the effects of these modes like lust, anger, desire, and hankering. Even in Chitraketu's case also, like initially he was hankering for that child, right? And once the child passed away or left this material world, then obviously he was lamenting. So while giving the boon itself, Narada and Ankira Muni was saying whatever in this material world, whatever the happiness we are getting temporarily, it will be vanished within a few like few moments or a few moments of time. So likewise, we are just in the cycle of hangering and lamentation. So once we get out of this cycle, then obviously we will get to know that eternal happiness being engaged in the loving service of the Lord. Once the material enjoyment is cleansed, then we will get the bhakti. So once bhakti is established, we will get rid of all these effects of modes. And once we are established in this modes of goodness, then we will get that transcendental scientific knowledge of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that will help us to liberate from this material world, that is Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. So many thanks once again, Prabhuji. These are my takeaways. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Jai Ho. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Now I will request His Grace Venkata Bhatta Chaitanya Prabhu Das to share his realizations and the feedback. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dhanavad Pranam Prabhuji. Prabhuji, Vasant Prabhu, first your Kirtan was very nice. The way you sang and I want to learn that to practice. It is very nice, Prabhuji. Thank you for the starting the day. Prabhuji, Himanshu Prabhuji, yeah, you not only you have taken not only the basics of basics for a devotee, and you have stressed the point how Bhagavatam class has to be listened. Yeah, it was very hammering on my mind. Yeah, because usually it happens. Usually, sometimes we will be distracted here and there, and I had few doubts before that. All things you have clarified this. Yeah, why others were not being liberated while Gokarna was reciting Bhagavatam. So that doubt also you have cleared here. So the way we hear the Bhagavatam with dedication and our motto of reaching back to Godhead, if that is not there, then we may be doing some good deed by hearing here and there, but we will not be achieving the goal in this lifetime. So this was really punching to me. Thank you for reminding this, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Dhanavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dhanavad Pranam. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Dhanavad Pranam Prabhu. Now I will call His Grace Swastik Chaitanya Dasa to add his comment and the feedback. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा धन्यवाद प्रणाम all. बहुत अच्छा प्रभु जी, कीर्तन बहुत अच्छा किया। मैं प्रभु आज तो पहले से स्टार्ट करने का मौका मिला, थैंक यू प्रभु जी। और प्रभु बहुत अच्छा किया था कि मेरा पूरा भागवत में पढ़ाई किया, मेरा बहुत स्टोरी में बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छा इंटरेस्ट था, इसलिए ज़्यादा सुनता था। इसलिए आज आपसे मुझे सुनने में ये सीरीज अंडरस्टैंड करना चाहता, फिर भी मेरा इंग्लिश में इतना ये नहीं है, फ्लुएंट नहीं मिलता, फिर भी मेरा पूरा पढ़ाई किया। इसका वजह से अभी एक स्टोरी का आप बोलने थे, मेरा वो मन में रिलेस आता था देखने में, वो स्टोरी का मैं पढ़ाई किया, वो उसका साथ साथ जोड़ के आ रहा था। बहुत अच्छा सेम डिटो एक्सप्लेन किया, बहुत अच्छा रहा था। इसमें से एक पॉइंट मैं समझा, मैं अंडरस्टैंड किया था इसमें से क्या है, एक मैं गो करने से पहला से धुंधकारी से अच्छा है वो क्या सुनने वाला व्यक्ति क्या क्या कैसा भाव रहना चाहिए वो समझना था। अच्छा देखिए सेकंड बात है, धुंधकारी तो फिर करना बोलकर बैठा था इसलिए वो तुरंत निकाल गया, बट अब इंपॉर्टेंट है क्योंकि हम भी वो स्थान में है धुंधकारी के जैसा ही अभी देखने में शरीर का साथ है, बट हमारा मन भगवान भी बहुत कहते हैं ये दाम अम्रवतंदे दाम दते हो मम वर्धमान वर्तते मनुष्य पर। ऐसे ही हम कैसा भगवान से डील करते हैं ऐसा हमको फल मिलता है, इसलिए हम भी ऐसा भागवत हम भी ऐसा सुनना चाहिए, धुंधकारी जैसा सुनना चाहिए। ये आज का मेरा लेसन है, मैं वो सुनता था फिर भी इसलिए ये इसमें से मेरे को और उत्साह बहुत रहा था। थैंक यू प्रभु जी, बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thanks, Prabhu. Once Prabhu, I'll add my comments. As I mentioned, like it was amazing to read about and like hear about the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhu. So one thing I just want to mention, intelligence is like what we is to know what to do when you don't know what to do. Okay, intelligence is to know like okay what we have to do when we don't know what to do. Like okay, in this material world, we don't know like what to do. Correct? Many a times like we will be putting into the very perplexed situation where why I am suffering, like why I have to go through of all these problems. So because like never have the eternal happiness in this material world. So all the time like we being into one or the other issue, correct? Like starting from the childhood till the old age, everyone have their own issues. So we all know like only one. I think the holy scriptures and like a devotion service only can give the whole reluctance like or whole relief from this particular material entanglement. So we need to apply our intelligence because like this Manusya Deha is like a very very rare, as mentioned in 11th canto by Nimi Maharaj, like so Durlabham Manusam Deho, Dekino Shana Bangura, Satrapi Durlabham Manye, Vaikunta Priya Darshanam. So this human body is rare. More rare is like to get the association of a devotee, Vaikunta Priya Darshanam, and just by getting that association, we need to, if we are not utilizing like to sing the glories of the Lord, then we are very unfortunate, right? Like so, that is what we are doing, where we glories of the Lord, like with the association of Vaishnava. So then comes, as mentioned by Devoti too, who is that incarnation? Prabhu?
Kabila
Yeah, Kapila Dev. Yeah, 3.25.25. So Satam Prasangam Mama Veer Samvido Bhavanti Hritkarna Rashayana Kadaya Yajyosana Dasva Apavarta Vadmani Shabda Ratir Bhaktir Anukramushidi. So by with the association of the devotees, we are the obviously like we all are very in this Kaliuga, everyone is like okay very manda sumanda and very lazy, not so intelligent. So Devati is asking like how to do this devotion service. So Kapila Muni is impractical to perform. So then he says like okay, he says it would be very easy with the association of the devotees while we are singing the glories of the Lord. Then Shraddha, Rati, Bhakti. Like the Bhakti, before Bhakti, like you need to have the Rati, like attraction. Because once you have the attraction towards the Lord, then nothing can shaken away from that particular attraction, correct? How that attraction will come, you need to have the Shraddha. Because like okay, you need to have the determination and you need to have the conviction, okay. nothing else. How in the holy name it is being mentioned. But Prabhu, the holy name, 3 times it is mentioned. Now, what is that shloka, Prabhu? I could not able to recollect.
Hare Nama,
Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Iva Kevalam, Kalona.
Kevalam Kalona Sevana.
Yeah. So the same way, we need to have that Shraddha, that is Shraddha. Once we have that a conviction and determination, then the Rati will come, where the attraction towards the Lord will come. Once that attraction comes, the Bhakti will automatically follow. So that is how you just help us to get the attraction towards the Srimad Bhagavatam, because in this whole world, the intelligence is not the material intelligence, but to know what the scriptures can give us, and how we need to apply that scriptures in our life. Thanks a lot, Prabhu. Amazing lecture once again. Thanks for sharing us inspired in yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dhanvat Pranam Prabhuji, great comments. That was the objective. So you added and you helped a lot with all these comments. Thanks to everyone.
Okay, Prabhu, if no one has any further comments, we can stop the recording, then we can have the darshan and the prayers, so then we can close, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. I will stop the recording, Prabhu.